It's been a horrible year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is probably, I was just having a heated discussion with my people. Like, this might be the worst year
As opposed to
ever hip hop history type.
Well, I say I've woken up in the wrong timeline where Bill Cosby was just helping people sleep better at night and R. Kelly discovered what a toilet's used for. I mean, what is this narrative? Because it's not just Joe that I've seen try to spin this. All of a sudden saying that 2024 is the worst year in hip hop history? 2024, the year where we've had the biggest rap beef and the biggest battle that will go down and be talked about years from now between Kendrick Lamar and Drake and all the music that's been dropped since then. And now, magically, the new narrative is that this year has sucked. And look, I get it. Joe said a lot of wild ish this year, and he's received a lot of backlash. And as Cat Williams said, this is the year of truth. This is the year where we've put a lot of celebrities under the microscope, where we've scrutinized a lot of artists. And Joe has definitely felt that backlash and that scrutiny. So I understand where he's coming from. And then, you know, it's not hard to figure out which camp he lies in, who he was rooting for and supporting in the Kendrick and Drake beef. And it just sounds like sore losers are being sore losers. Oh, and speaking of sore losers,
it would be an unforgettable honeymoon filled with laughter, fun, and of course, the Drake charisma. And it's always oh, I'm not reading that. Please help a Drizzy soldier finally show my wife why Drake is the greatest to ever do it. So
great. I loved every single word of that.
Ooh, I'm not reading that. This piece of paper that's already been vetted and reviewed by my team and handed to me that, oopsie, look, there's a, what does this say? Oh, I can't say that. I don't want my ass kicked again. And two, if I say that, then maybe a reverse Uno card will happen and I'll have a defamation case against me.
This could be the first booking of the game.
Wowzers, trousers.
Yellow card.
The Uno reverse.
He's Uno reversed it.
I mean, Drake already waved the white flag and wanted the beef to end. And obviously now we know he's not even taking it to wax because he's trying to take a different route and sue UMG and Spotify and iHeartRadio. But for whatever reason, he likes to just walk right up to that line of no man's land and just see if he could just poke his foot across and poke the bear again. Be very careful with lines like that. It's like he's trying to stir the pot. He's trying to see what he can get away with, cast stones, and then hold his hands up afterwards. But I'm getting away from myself. The narrative that I want to hone in on that's really starting to be spread by the Fat Joes of the world and also the Drakes of the world is the status of hip hop for this year and how we're going to look back and remember this year and where we're going into 2025. But there's an interesting video during this live stream and clip where Drake and, the Mr. Musical Reviewer and Genius, Adin Ross, start talking about music and the state of hip hop. And we saw Drake do this in his interview with XQC. We saw Drake starting to say, yeah, rap has been really weird this year. Well, let's see where we go on this one.
what's the vibes? What are you listening to?
Music-wise?
Yeah.
It's the same question he asked XQC to set this up.
Waiting for you and PND to drop that album, which you told me was going to drop 3 weeks ago. You lied to me.
I know, you're right. It's coming.
Okay.
All right.
Can I hear the album tonight?
Yeah, you can actually, if you want.
All right.
Gurgle, 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 slurp, slurp, slurp. Let me just casually ask on a live stream as a not so nonchalant flex. Adin Ross is great TV.
Okay.
All right.
Can I hear the album tonight?
Yeah, you can actually, if you want.
All right.
It's pretty much there.
Rap's dead, bro. I'm sorry. It just is.
Let's not go there.
We don't got to go there, but it's dead.
Let's not go there.
Let's not go there. At least he's changed his tune a little bit from the XQC one.
You know what? Honesty is, it'll never die.
Keep it on the full cam. Not die as far as like full on die.
It'll never die. What do you mean?
Music's just dry right now, bro. Like, chat, who do y'all listen to right now, bro? Nobody's dropping shit. I don't know, bro.
What, you mean nobody's dropping basic shit that your IQ can get wrapped around, but all this lyrical stuff that's being dropped because it doesn't register with your wavelength? Therefore, nobody's dropping anything? Kendrick Lamar, Tyler, the Creator, Doechii, Absol, Schoolboy Q. Yeah, you're right. Nobody's dropped anything this year.
Nobody's dropping shit. I don't know, bro.
It was a weird NBA season. That's all it was, you know?
It's all right.
All good. New season starts in like 5 days anyway.
Facts. Brand new season, brand new year.
Mm-hmm. What's the vibes?
It was a weird NBA season. And this is what Drake has been doing. And this is what you saw with Fat Joe. Trying to discredit this year in hip hop because the cards have not fallen this way. And there's definitely saltiness from Drake, and it makes sense. When you're on top for so long and you're so celebrated and you have such dominance, and now all of a sudden, as Cat Williams said, this has been the year of truth. This has really been the year of putting celebrities under that microscope. And Drake was definitely one of the ones put under the microscope, and a lot of people didn't like what they saw underneath the hood. But I think a statement like this really reflects and highlights Drake's view of the culture and really Kendrick Lamar's criticisms of him. It's a simple throwaway statement, but Drake has influence, and he knows he's going to have a lot of Drake stands that are going to run around regurgitating this now and trying to push and feed and give into this narrative that it's been just a weird year in music. But I think what this really reflects is Drake's just lack of pulse on the culture yet again. Drake being concerned, as Kendrick Lamar put it, just with shallow numbers and monetary success and numerical success, and that's what he focused on. Not on art for the sake of art, but just how many hits do you have, how many singles do you have, and Kendrick painting this narrative of Drake as someone who just takes advantage of the culture, who's a grifter of the culture, and he doesn't really concern himself or care about pushing the culture forward. And in a year when a lot of hip hop pundits, a lot of influencers, a lot of people have come out and said this has been one of the greatest years of hip hop. This has been a year that we've really brought back the culture and we've started pushing the appreciation for art again and higher art within hip hop. It's really interesting that Drake just wants to have a throwaway statement and discredit it. And all of a sudden, yet again, take away from that culture, not contribute to it, try to sow discourse and discord amongst the culture. And just simple lines like that, you may look at it on face value and it's like, well, he just said that line. Obviously, he feels the way that he feels. But I think there's deeper rooted issues that Drake has and what he's going through and what he's experiencing. And it's coming out within lines like that. But it's not helping his case because it's like he's been slapped around now. He's had time to self-reflect. And instead of going away, self-reflecting, maybe coming back more involved, it's like he's just so stubbornly pushing forward, just continuing to drop, continuing to release. Now he's doing all these live streams with all these red pillars, and it's interesting what he's trying to do. It's like he's trying to now surround himself with a fan base where he can't be canceled. He can't be attacked for what he's saying. There's no consequences for his words, and it feels like he's really trying to insulate himself at this moment in time. But it's very facetious and yet ironically in brand for Drake to turn around and to try to paint this year in a negative light, right? To try to just completely throw away all the contributions that artists have made in 2024 to the hip hop culture. And let me tell you, we've had some amazing albums this year. And as a lyricist, as someone who breaks down lyrical hip hop, for me, this has been a year that has really got me excited about music, about hip hop again. And I really think fans have been spoiled. It doesn't matter your taste. There's been a little bit of something for everyone. If you're an old head, Common and Pete Rock had an amazing album that they dropped that I highly recommend. You had the real return of the West Coast, and what better way to capitalize that and to make an exclamation on that statement than a collaborative album between Dr. Dre and Snoop and Missionary. Ice Cube also dropping an album. Exhibit coming through and dropping bangers. And we especially can't forget Eminem and the death of Slim Shady. There's been a lot of nostalgic vibes from old heads in hip hop, and they've been well fed this year. And there's been just some really dope music that the older generation has put out that people can consume and appreciate and enjoy. And I think that's a beautiful thing because, obviously in the 90s, there was sort of this unspoken that once you pass a certain point, like nobody wants to listen to you rap anymore. A lot of rappers retire early, but you look at other genres of music and, singers would continue to tour. Singers would continue to release albums well into their 40s, into their 50s, into their 60s. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we're starting to see the longevity of rappers and of MCs who want to keep doing it. Busta Rhymes as well, I think deserves a big shout out. And again, let's not forget the lyricist. Lupe Fiasco had an amazing album in Samurai that he dropped. Ab Soul came through and has an incredibly underrated album that is on one of my top 10 album lists of this year. And piggybacking off of Ab Soul, Eminem, Lupe Fiasco, who I would put in top 6 albums this year. Some of the other best albums of this year. You had Schoolboy Q with Blue Lips, which it was great to see TDE back in full force. Doechii as well. Breakthrough Artist of the Year, I think, coming through with her album as well. TDE really made a statement. Obviously, SZA dropping towards the end of the year. And most importantly, Kendrick Lamar with, to me, my personal album of the year in GNX. just with the sounds, just the mix of the bass style, the West Coast. It felt like we were spoiled with Kendrick this year. You know, we really got a setup for what's going to be, I think, an amazing Super Bowl performance. I mean, he's got a lot of singles, a lot of hits now to pick from, and a lot of fresh, relevant music. And speaking of the West, I absolutely can't forget Tyler, the Creator. I mean, the artistry of that album, the production of that album, some of the concepts. I mean, Tyler was really in his bag this year. And yeah, West Coast is back, and West Coast is absolutely on top. But the East Coast still did his thing. We can't forget that J. Cole also dropped this year, and J. Cole has been spoiling us through his podcast, dropping unreleased bangers, also re-releasing past mixtapes that can now be streamed. I mean, J. Cole has been very quietly giving us classic Cole sounds to enjoy to end the year with. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't shout out the home team, shout out to PG County, shout out to a fellow artist in Core Day, who I think is really the next generation of lyricists. He had a great soulful album, some amazing cuts with Anderson .Paak on it. Lil Wayne is also featured on that. There's just, yeah, some amazing drops in that album, In the Crossroads. Denzel Curry, Vince Staples, Freddie Gibbs all deserve honorable mentions too. The point I'm making and the point I'm getting at is that it's been a very versatile, vibrant year for hip hop. And I think this year is really showing where fans lie in the spectrum of just casual listeners or fans who truly appreciate the culture and truly want to digest it and have their souls fed. Have there been as many hit songs this year? No. And maybe that's where Drake is coming from, because his brand of music and his brand of rap has not dominated as much as it has in years past. It's not been the celebrated releases that it used to be. It really feels like the focus of this year has become on the artistry, on making music that is not easily replicatable, right? It's not just about the hit singles that can be dropped, they're going to get played, they're going to do the initial numbers and boost, but people are going to forget about them once the trend passes within 6-8 months from now, right? It's been more about making that timeless music, finding true original sounds, right? Really pushing the boundaries, evolving, having more introspective music, more soul searching, a lot more artistry. And the emphasis has been on those amazing artists who are really pushing the art and pushing the culture forward. I mean, I think that's just a huge win for hip hop. And I'm excited about 2025. Maybe it's been a weird year because it's been such an outlier year. I mean, tell me what other year you've had Kendrick Lamar drop, you've had J. Cole drop, you've had Eminem drop, you've had Tyler, the Creator drop. You've had so many huge names that have been appreciated throughout hip hop history in the years. And then you had one of the biggest rap beefs of this year as well, dominating the eyes, dominating the headlines. If anything, it really feels like hip hop is back. Hip hop has a pulse and a heartbeat again, and it's thriving. And I'm really excited for 2025. I can't wait to see what the future holds.